Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Money Mornings. I'm your host, Arshel Branch, and today, you guys, we are going to get into the toxic money influence of Sexy Red and how that kind of behavior and content actually affects our money. But before we go ahead and do that, I want you guys to take the time to subscribe to the channel of Arshel Financial. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so that way you never miss an episode. You can follow me on Instagram and Threads at Archie Financial. You can follow me on Twitter, now X, at Archie_finance. We're going to be looking into Sexy Red's behavior and the kind of content that is promoting particularly Black Americans and influencing how we do money and what that actually looks like. Now, specifically, I want to speak to you guys about life insurance. I am a licensed life insurance agent of the state of Pennsylvania. So after looking at the study and being qualified to sell you these types of policies, I just want to be able to encourage Black Americans and any American really on why they should be wanting to live morally correct lives. It's not just about getting into heaven. That's one of the things that I learned about life insurance, that really morality is really not just about getting into heaven. Of course, as Christians, we believe that. But there's a lot more to this. If you are someone who is an atheist or you are a Christian with a lowercase c, you're still searching, you're wondering. But at the very least, you should live a morally correct life because of life insurance. I can't speak to the OnlyFans individuals and, legalized prostitution in that regard and how this is going to keep you from having certain financial securities and financial freedom. Yeah, in the moment you can make a lot of money, but there's certain opportunities like protecting and securing the wealth you've grown, even if it is that way, wondering whether or not you're going to be able to secure that and provide that financial protection to your children because, well, life insurance, mutual funds, annuities, these are some of the traditional financial opportunities that people have when you live a morally correct life. There is such a thing known as a morality clause, aka the bad girl / bad boy clause, that if you do not live to the standard of morality, life insurance is just not going to be provided to you.
What?
Annuities, mutual funds, these things are not going to be provided to you. Now, when I was taking my exam for this was the one thing that I knew I could never forget, because in a society that is overly sexed, that constantly promotes promiscuity and this bad behavior, it's kind of fascinating to me that a lot of the women who are being encouraged to go into those lifestyles are the very people who are not only majority in debt, but are also the ones who are not going to have these opportunities if we don't start looking at the bad behaviors and why you shouldn't engage this way.
This man has no insurance.
He'll never be able to afford this room.
Now, the reason why Sexy Red is the example today is like, well, she's kind of open and honest about her behavior. I mean, as a life insurance agent, part of what we do in the underwriting process is to ask very personal questions. Now, granted, you are protected under the HIPAA laws. It is against the law for me to share your information with anyone. And so you're protected by the law. If I want to keep my license, and I, of course, abide by privacy rights, I believe in privacy rights of the United States, we have that as a constitutional right, then I'm going to respect that. But now here's the thing. Life insurance is about health, behavior, and honesty. And out of the three things, there's only one thing that Sexy Red actually qualifies for, and that is honesty. She's been very open about her behaviors. And I just want people to understand that if you continue to engage this way, if you are looking at this woman as some kind of a role model to you, you really shouldn't. Because living a life the way she lives, a YOLO kind of a life, understand, you are living a life that suggests you don't care about your life. And if you don't care, life insurance companies do not care. If you live your life like you don't give a damn, excuse my language, then they're not going to care either. And the sad tragedy is that we have all these individuals out here who have children, who have families and communities that they say that they care about, and they're not taking the necessary steps to secure the wealth that they say they want to build, if they've built it at all. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play that first clip of Sexy Red for you guys so you can understand what kind of behavior is just unacceptable in the eyes of life insurance. Let me go ahead and play that first clip for you guys.
I don't use condoms, baby.
Right.
I'm the raw dog queen.
Wow.
So
Queen?
that didn't.
I'm like, no, I'm going to say that for the other content creators. What I will say is promiscuity. This is concerning. It creates life, people, creates babies, which she just had her second one a few months ago. It can also lead to sexually transmitted diseases, which, she's very open and honest about how many times she's had one, or God only knows how many she's possibly had. And I don't mean to sound judgmental of her specifically. It's very difficult to do, but I'm trying to work on that, not being so disrespectful to women who behave this way. And not even just women, but men as well. This kind of behavior is going to deny you opportunities, particularly as it relates to your money.
If sex were fast food, there'd be an arch over your bed.
How are you going to protect your wealth? How are you going to secure it? How are you going to grow it?
That money, pardon the expression, is like manure. It's not worth a thing unless it's spread around encouraging young things to grow.
This kind of behavior and being open about that kind of behavior denies you financial opportunities. Your greatest wealth growing tool is your income. Now, she's fortunate enough to have had people in the music industry find her music good. I say that in air quotes because it's absolute trash, in my opinion. People in the music industry found this to be entertaining, it's sellable, so they decided that they were going to give her a record label. They were going to give her the money. They were going to give her the exposure. And so she's making all this money producing trash, convincing other people to engage in this kind of behavior. And not many people are going to have the same financial opportunity of getting a record deal. Not everybody's going to have that. And so if you're just inspired by her to act this way because you think there's a reward in this, not every person's going to be like this. And this is not even just true for women who go into the music industry. This is also true for women who choose to be OnlyFans individuals. There's not like a union for prostitutes where you have a representative to argue why you deserve to have the opportunity. You don't deserve that. Okay? If you violate the morality clause, and the mortality charts have not been updated, so we don't even know how to figure out whether or not you can even qualify for this. Like, am I wasting my time if I sit across from a woman like Sexy Red or from an OnlyFans individual? Am I wasting my time trying to figure out whether or not this person is going to have life insurance? It's like, I don't want to be wasting my time because, right, you want to obviously do the work, but I want you to be protected. But if you're not going to do the work to protect yourself, she's sitting here saying she's the raw dog queen. She doesn't like to use that kind of protection. So you're out here being promiscuous, not using protection because in the moment you don't like it. But now this leads to STDs, which is a question that life insurance agents have to ask. Have you ever had an STD? And if you have, how many times have you had this situation happen to you? Because these are the things that are going to play a role in not just whether or not you get qualified for the life insurance policy, but what your premium payments are going to be. There are standards to this. For example, if you're someone who smokes cigarettes, expect your premium to be higher than the person who doesn't smoke cigarettes, doesn't do marijuana, and doesn't drink. If you choose to live this kind of a lifestyle, you may not have the financial opportunity. I'm going to play the next clip for you guys where she's very open about how many times she's had an STD. Again, in the underwriting process, this is all information that goes into the paperwork to determine whether or not you even get qualified. So let me go ahead and run that second clip for you guys.
Free. So
No,
free
that's
like
how I
that.
am. Like,
Yeah. Remember
I
old Johnny
can't
Baxter? He
hide
was
it.
like, I got burnt by gonorrhea twice.
No, I ain't
Free.
never had. I had chlamydia before though twice.
Okay.
But I ain't
mean,
never
it's-
had.
That's the most
pretty common.
STD.
Yeah, very common.
This what happened.
She's had it twice.
She's the grand poobah of slaughtering.
She's had it twice. Now, I don't want to say I'm not. I'm going to say I don't encourage anybody to go and watch that full interview because really everybody in that room is just celebrating how free she is. She gets to be this free, that not confining her behaviors and her attitudes to a morally correct way of living. She's going to be denied certain opportunities because, again, promiscuity leads to STDs, and she's admitted to having it more than once. So this is a part of her lifestyle, which again goes into the underwriting process, which determines whether or not you are going to have the opportunity of securing your wealth. So she's making all this money in the music industry, and that's great. But is she saving? Is she investing? Does she even have the opportunity of paying for life insurance? And the best opportunity she might have is an annuity with periods certain, which let's just break this down. Why I think personally, life insurance, depending on which policy you get, is going to be better than the annuity period certain. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means you have from 10 to 20 years of how long you can actually be receiving any kind of a monthly payout if you have any beneficiaries listed. What that really means is you have to die before that end date. If you live longer than that 20-year max, it all goes away. it all goes away. You have no financial security. Your children, if you have, which she does, will have no financial security. And that just sounds morbid. When you're talking about life insurance already, you're talking about your death, yes, but not even just so much your death, you're also talking about life after work. So, really, retirement. And then what happens with your family after you pass on, which could be anywhere between 15 to 20 years past the time of your retirement. That's why you get life insurance. So sad because we are discussing your death, but not morbid in its entirety. Whereas the annuity period certain, that sounds kind of morbid because you kind of have to hope that you die before this runs out.
We're dead! We're survived, but we're dead!
Which is the sad tragedy here. Her children would have to hope that their mother dies. She's in her 20s. In 20 years, she's in her late 40s into her 50s. You better hope that your music is still entertaining at that point so you can still be making money. I mean, my goodness, from the way things are looking, she's not going to be very relevant in the next 15 years. So she needs to be smart about her money now. And annuity period certain may seem to be the best thing for her. But again, there are morality clauses. Now, this may not have anything to do with her health, but it does have everything to do with her behavior. And this takes us to why you should not even be looking to becoming a criminal, which again, she celebrates in her music, she celebrates in her behavior, and has been very open about it in her interviews. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the next clip for you guys about how open she is about crime. Let's go ahead and let's run that next clip for you guys.
Is it like credit card fraud?
No, that's not the kind of stuff we do in my city. Like, it be stuff, gun charges, drug charges, fleeing the police, like stealing cars and shit like that. That's the kind of problems we got where we from.
Damn.
Like hood shit.
Gun charges, drug charges, fleeing the police, and car theft. And she's open about it. Oh, that's my scene. That's my scene. And if you go find that interview, I'm not putting any links to these interviews in the description box because I would really not like to give people who celebrate this kind of behavior any kind of a kudos. But for the sake of the conversation that we're having today, it had to be shown. Her criminal activity is also part of the problem here. Why she may not be able to have any of the opportunities of a mutual fund, of an annuity, whether we're talking fixed or variable. Why she may never be able to get life insurance unless she changes her behavior. In the previous episode, we were talking about the importance of budgeting so you don't end up broke. But now here's the thing. If you decide that you're going to budget and save, let's say you do those things, but you still decide to continue with unbelievably irresponsible promiscuity, unbelievable behavior as relates to crime. These are the things that are going to deny you these opportunities. The woman has had chlamydia twice. She said that her scene is gun charges, drug charges, fleeing from police, etc. And you also have 2 children, which you had outside of marriage. And mind you, in some of these interviews, she even says that she's got chlamydia not from the father of her children, but from another guy.
Well, first, I want to find out who did it.
So, I mean, like, these are things that are going to deter the life insurance companies from even sitting across the table from you. Am I wasting my time sitting across the table from a woman like Sexy Red? Am I wasting my time sitting across the table from women who do OnlyFans? Again, there is no representative who is arguing why hoes should have these policies available to them.
That song, there's some hoes in this house. There's some hoes in this house. They all dead.
And I'm sorry to say it, but that's pretty much what it is, right? You know, there's no reason why you should have this kind of security if you're going to die sooner. If you want to live YOLO and it makes you risky and you die a hell of a lot sooner, well, then why should we insure you when there is no guarantee that you're trying to live longer than, I don't know, the next 10 years? Interest accumulates over time. And so by the time you are ready to retire in your 60s, this should have accumulated $500 in a growth mutual fund from 30 to 70 at retirement. You're going to have over $5 million in that account. That's just the mutual fund. That doesn't include business ownership. That doesn't include other assets that you might own, like a home, maybe a life insurance policy. These things are considered property, therefore collateral that you can borrow from and leverage. And she will not have those opportunities because of her behavior as it relates to sex and crime. You engage in life like these individuals, you are denying yourself these opportunities. These are not people that you should be looking up to. Why should you be living a morally correct life? Not just so you are right with our Creator and have your opportunity of going to heaven, but so you can get life insurance. That's important. If you have children, you want to think about that. They are your dependents. Okay? They are your beneficiaries. These are the people that after you've gone, you want to have a legacy for. You want to have that. The Lord wants you to build wealth so that way you can be of a use to your society, to your community, to your family, not just to yourself, as well as making sure that you save for your children and your children's children. But we have people like Sexy Red out here making you believe that holding wads of cash is what wealth actually is. That compound interest, people, is the best kind of passive income you can possibly ever have. You don't got to do nothing but put money in the account. That is it. That compound interest is going to accumulate over time, that when you're ready to retire, it is at a substantial number that you can live out the rest of your years, as well as provide to your children and grandchildren. That's the idea. And she's not going to be able to have that. Let me show you what she thinks rich is. Okay, that's enough of that. Just looking for the clips, people, it was driving me nuts. Just, oh goodness, this woman, I'm trying not to be judgmental of the woman, but my goodness, there are people who really think that this is actual talent. There are people who are paying to make sure that this gets distributed amongst Black Americans, particularly, like, we think this is good. And frankly, if this is what it means to be Black, then I'm glad I was referred to as a Carlton.
It's not unusual to be
Because my goodness, this is horrendous behavior. She's sitting, standing, getting twerked on, twerking, half naked, cussing.
What do you mean? Girl's a slut.
In front of, mind you, at that particular BET Awards, we had people like Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul. You would think she'd at least get dressed for, Black royalty in the room. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. She just decides that this is what she's going to be about. This is what people are spending money on. And a Black man is paying for this kind of content, who is very intelligent, very educated. And, his children aren't listening to this, but he's promoting this kind of a woman who is encouraging people to engage in a behavior that not only leads you down the wrong path as it relates to your immortal soul, but may also have you financially broke. You're in debt because you want them crazy nails, you want the crazy looking hair, you want these gold chains with diamonds in your teeth, in your necklace. This is what it means to be rich in the eyes of hood rats.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Okay? You want to look like hood rats. You want to act like hood rats. And it's only going to land you dead in prison or on the street and broke, ending up like one of these OnlyFans prostitutes, selling yourself just to make quick cash, which again can't be protected because, well, you are violating the morality clause. It is as simple as that. And what makes it even worse, you guys, is that it's encouraging young people to engage the same. There's this young kid, can barely speak the language, doesn't know how to do math. I bet you he can't even count the money in his hand. This young man, not young man, but young boy, his name is Lil RT. That's what we're calling him because I don't know his real name. That's how he's promoted himself on social media, or at least that's how the people around him are promoting him. Because like Sexy Red and all these other musicians like her, whether you're male or female, are saying that this kind of behavior is okay. It's good. And so let's go ahead and let's play that little clip of Lil RT.
Nigga know what play with me, I'm shooting it right in that ground. Hand around, step on LeBron Gray, hitting me.
That's enough of that. Okay, so you guys are realizing that I did the screen record with that particular video. Normally, I would have done the landscape just so you guys can get the full picture of this, but I was so in shock of what I was watching that I was just staring at the screen.
Stunned is the only way to describe how stunned I am.
I'm in disbelief that this was even allowed on YouTube. This child is cussing up a storm, and you barely understand what he's saying. I mean, my goodness, he sounds like a 6-year-old who just finished learning how to say dada. I mean, this is tragic. Tragic. This young boy can barely speak the language, as I said in the previous episode, you guys. If you can't speak the language, if you can't do the math, you're not going to get very far in this life. You're not going to get very far. He thinks rich is holding wads of cash in his hand. The question is, can he even count it? Can he even say the names of the faces on the dollar bills? He's got 20s, 10s, and singles. Do you even know the faces of the people on the money? Do you know the history of how the money came to be? Do you know the actual value once you've added all of it up? But Sexy Red says holding wads of cash is rich. That the hood ghetto mentality is what it means to be successful if you're black. If this is what it means to be black, we got problems. Number one. Number two, there is more to wealth than wads of cash in your hand. I'm not mad at the pictures for Instagram. They make great pictures. I'm not mad at that for the pictures. I get it. But make sure you go put that into the bank, okay? Understand, after Sexy Red did this BET performance, chances are she went to an after party where she used all the money that was in her hand on bottles. You think she knows to put it into a savings account? At the very least, that you have the opportunity to do, even if you behave the way that you're behaving. You at least have that. What is the literacy rate amongst individuals who behave this way? What is the math rates of people who behave this way? What is your mortality rate when you behave this way? When you live like YOLO, life insurance does not want to protect you. They do not want to help you secure your wealth. Annuities, mutual funds, they do not want to secure your wealth. If you don't care about your life, well then, neither do I. I'm not going to waste my time sitting across the table from people whose mortality rate is not making it to the retirement. I'd like the time for your compound interest to accumulate to the millions that it could be if you invest wisely. But if you're planning on continuing your criminal behavior, if you're planning on continuing to be promiscuous with no protection whatsoever, 2 babies out of wedlock, chlamydia twice by the same man, open on interviews about this behavior, I mean, come on.
The slut is dead. Long live the slut.
I'm supposed to sit here and what? Beg these insurance providers to make sure that you have the security when you don't live like you want it. You only live once, yes. But if you die young, well then, don't say you weren't warned. Not only spiritually, but financially. I know I've been harsh on this one. I've been harsh. But I mean, come on. This kind of behavior is just not good for anybody. It's just really not. It's not good for you spiritually. It's not heading you into the right position. And I'm not judging the individual. I'm judging the behavior, the character. This is outrageous. How are you going to get anywhere if you can't even speak the language? I've had my financial issues, but I tell you, you don't want the accumulation of bad decisions just piling up against you where all opportunities are against you. You have to take the time to be better. Ask yourself, can you even get an annuity with period certain if you don't violate the morality clause? Can you get life insurance? It's not even just about having the budget. This is about our behavior. You have to be better about our behavior, and you have to start paying attention to who's influencing said behavior. Wads of cash in your hand is not rich, okay? It's not rich. Budgeting, saving, and investing over a period of time into life insurance, into mutual funds, into annuities, into savings account with investments attached to it, compound interest attached to it. These are the things that you want to be able to do. Now, if you're someone who actually wants life insurance, you can go ahead and reach out to me in my Instagram DMs. You can go ahead and reach out to me on Twitter in the direct messaging as well, Facebook and the same thing. And then if you're not in the state of Pennsylvania, I'll see if I can connect you to a life insurance agent to see if you qualify. But if you are someone in the state of Pennsylvania, then I can try to, find the policies that work for you. If you're young, term, we'll find something that you can afford so that way you can at least have the protections. But check your behavior. Like, don't waste your time. If you know that you behaving like Sexy Red, maybe just start investing yourself. And if you don't know how to do that, you can, again, reach out to my website, head over to the Instagram. The link is at the top of the page. So that way you guys could actually find out if you qualify, if you want to see if self-investing is something that is going to be best suited for you, because these may be the only opportunities you have of actually investing if you're someone who behaves like Sexy Red. It's not that there aren't any financial growing and security opportunities. There are. You may not get the same benefits of those who can work the middleman, like insurance, like mutual funds. We might be able to find something for you, even if you are the OnlyFans. Even if you are behaving like Sexy Red, there are things you still can do to secure and grow your wealth. I'm just saying maybe living a morally correct life is only going to open more opportunities to you. Yes, you can do things with yourself with all the modern technologies. Yes, this is true. But it also helps to have the middleman. It also helps to have the education and the information. If you need the help, you can reach out to me on my Instagram. So if you guys enjoy the content, definitely hit into those comment sections. Let me know if you think that Sexy Red's behavior qualifies for life insurance? Because I generally don't know. Again, this is not a part of the mortality charts at all. It's not. What do you think? If you think OnlyFans should get insurance, life insurance, you go ahead, reach out to me. Because again, I do not know, and I like the conversation. You go ahead and reach out to me. Again, you can follow me on Instagram at Archie Financial. You can follow me on Twitter, now X, at Archie_Finance. And you can subscribe to the channel Arshel Financial on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. And again, let God in your wallet. Have a good one.